Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of The Glass Girls brought to you by Regency Glass. I'm Nat.
And I'm Lauren, and today we have Jay Gallagher, who is our training manager here at Regency, and Jonny Ashworth, who is the founder of Mighty Giant. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. So we thought we'd start with, obviously we've just introduced you with your job roles, we thought we'd start with your backgrounds and how you've obviously got to where you've got to today. So Jonny, did you want to start?
Yeah, so Mighty Giant are an animation, motion design studio. We're in the centre of Manchester. My background was a long time ago, sort of doing graphic design and then finding jobs in the industry, which led into more of this, what we call motion design. So it's not traditional animation, it's sort of blending 3D and design together. Worked in London for a few years, worked at the BBC for a while, and then set up Mighty Giant in 2010. And then over the years, we've slowly grown to the point where we met you guys and then started working on this project.
Amazing, thank you. So Jay, do you want to give a bit of a background on your career and how you've now got to training manager and where you started?
Well, I started here at Regency straight from school. Left school not really knowing what I wanted to do. Just sort of rocked up and knocked on the door one day. Literally. I come for an interview the first week after leaving school, I think, and I started the following Monday. Then I just started on the shop floor straight from there, working in various departments.
Yeah, and you've progressed, haven't you, over the years? You've done a lot of different roles, haven't you, inside the business?
So I've worked in lots of different departments all through the business. I've actually worked here on two periods. The first time I was here, I worked here for about 15 years. Then I left, and then I came back the second time, working in different departments, and led to here.
So let's start off then with the training programme, and obviously because that's how we're all now sat in this room. We've obviously brought Mighty Giant on board to help us with that training programme. So do you want to start off, Jay, with just talking about the training programme? And obviously kind of it started out very different, didn't it? There wasn't even a department to begin with, of which we've now got people working in that department full time. So I don't know if you want to start with that and how the vision changed over a period of time.
Yeah, it did. It started, well, we really didn't know where to start or what to start with. It was put to me, did I want to start the training programme? Did I want to run it? And then we sat down and it sort of a blank piece of paper, really. It's like, where do we take this?
Wasn't it? I think one of the key things with that as well was the reason it was pitched to you is because of the explanation you've just given of your background in the company and how you've done a lot of different job roles here. You're pretty much the perfect person for this role because you've got experience on the shop floor, experience in the offices. You know, it's a very it's a skill set that not a lot of people have in this business, and you've also got a lot of respect from your peers and colleagues, so you're just the absolute perfect person for this role, and obviously you've shown that over the last couple of years doing that. But it's one of those roles then that we kind of knew you'd be perfect for it, but that department had absolutely no structure to it at all, did it?
None whatsoever.
None. I think, like you said, it sat down with a blank piece of paper.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely not an under-exaggeration.
No, it wasn't. It was a blank piece of paper. It was like, what department do we start with? What job do we start with? And then I think, because we didn't have anywhere to start, we sort of said, do we start with new starters?
Yeah.
Factory onboarding. So we looked at that, looking at factory onboarding, getting people on board and introducing them to the company.
Correct. So there was an idea, wasn't there, of how, obviously, we wanted to pitch this. So it was kind of, we knew we wanted an online platform so that people would come into the company, and it's Regency specific, and every department in the business would obviously have that education and the videos and all that kind of stuff. But then we brought Mighty Giant on, didn't we? Because obviously it started with, just explain how obviously the videos started.
The videos, well, they first started, was just going out onto the shop floor recording people with an iPhone, just standing at the back of them.
And a bit of iMovie cutting it up.
Yeah, recording.
Zoom out.
Yeah,
Do that again.
And it just went from there. Then I think we sort of sat down and looked at them and was like, no, I think this job's too big for us.
So our marketing firm, Usbear, actually introduced us to Mighty Giant and we got in touch with your company. But if you want to start, Jonny, with how we came to you, what we asked of you, and how you created something beautiful, really. You created something quite unique.
I was looking through the emails before we did this, and obviously we get a lot of weird requests for animation company. So this wasn't one of the weirdest, but yeah, we just had a request, can you help us animate a rhino for this training film? So, which was a character you'd come up with.
Yeah.
So
this is how it originally...
Go on, tell us where the rhino came from, because we still don't know this.
Yeah, so this was the original pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was... Mighty Giant wasn't actually at this point... We didn't think that it was going to become this whole massive
No, our initial
animated...
thing was just this rhino.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So do you want to explain that a little bit? Jay, it literally was in this room, wasn't it?
Yeah, we was on with the programme, making courses, and then I think it got brought up that we probably needed a mascot, someone to deliver the courses.
Yeah, because we didn't want it to be one of us, did we? We wanted it to be something that took people away from obviously having a specific person training them, so it would then be a little bit easier to obviously be trained off somebody who they could relate to, but it wasn't somebody in the business, if that makes sense.
What were some of the examples of mascots?
Go on, Jail.
Some of the earlier examples, we were sat around this table and everyone was coming up with ideas. Someone mentioned a talking double glaze unit. That was pre-Reg.
And then I think Reg got brought up as a joke, didn't it, at first, by Emily, actually. It was Emily's brainchild, wasn't it?
So, we was discussing animals, talking animals like you do. Reg got mentioned. The name was quite easy, shortened of Regency Glass, so Reg stuck.
Yeah,
that was
stuck, didn't it? And that was, I think the idea that was originally a joke just kind of stuck, and then one thing led to another, and
we had a talking rhino.
we did. So like Jonny just said, we obviously then pitched the project
So you came to us and said, can we have this character to introduce our training film? So we said, yeah, we can come up with that. And we're lucky that we've got quite a multi-skilled team. We've got a really good character designer, Dan, in the team. So he came up with a lot of sketches, went through a load of different iterations of what he could look like. And then we sent them through to you, and you sort of fed back. And so he, he's too big, he's too thin, he's too... So we went through all of that.
not something I don't think any of us thought we'd be doing on
No,
our
exactly. And then so slowly we started to get down what this character looks like, and then the 3D guys get involved and start to model him. So we started to model that, and then I think the initial thing we did was just a proof of concept for you, was to prove that this character could, walk around and talk. So we did that, and delivered this 3D character, Reg the Rhino, for you.
I think Mighty Giant did a great job. Hopefully, I think others think this, but I think internally we feel that as much as he's an animal, he's somebody you could probably drop onto our shop floor or into our offices, and he fits the Regency.
He was there to visualise for me originally, but
it was, wasn't it? But
once you saw him there on screen, he was like,
you can't change
he belongs
it.
there.
No. Even down to, so obviously, do we want to just kind of go through as well how we got the voice for Reg, and obviously then we'll explain the voice of the training later on, but so we had a whole process as well, didn't we, of picking out a voice for Reg, which is important because we wanted him to feel like he was also from around.
Yeah, so I think from what I remember, we put forward 3 or 4 different voices, and then sort of it's the process we'll do for most of our jobs. So we auditioned these voices, picked the voice that was regional to here. It had to feel like it was from this area.
Yeah.
And then we put those forward, and then you guys listened to them, and then pick the one that you felt sort of matched the character.
Yeah.
I feel like when I listen to Reg now, Michael, who is obviously the VO of Reg, who is the voice of Reg, his voice fits Reg so well.
Yeah, you couldn't imagine him being anyone else now, could you? I think we actually thought at first, I don't know why, we thought Jonny.
It's always me, didn't
we actually thought Jonny had done.
Really?
Yeah, when we were first listening to him, like, is that Jonny sneaking a little VO taste today?
It's not me.
Yeah.
You would know on me as the voice of it.
So yeah, Jonny nearly was the voice of Reg at one point.
No, he's great, Mikey. He's
Yeah, no, he's
really
very
brings
good
him
at
to
it.
life, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely gives that personal feeling to Reg, doesn't it, where we feel like he could literally be part of this business, and that's it's exactly what we're looking for. So Q1, obviously, the design of Reg, and I think, long story short, is very happy to be wrong, as I am quite a lot of the time. So what happened is one thing led to another then, didn't it? We got Reg designed, and as Jay said earlier, it went from the training videos being all done on an iPhone, to which I think a lot of us knew that was going to be too big of a task, and we didn't necessarily have the expertise on that.
I also don't think that it would have reflected the quality that we are as a business. Like, I don't the type of business who just chuck something together on an iPhone and expect people to learn from it. We're much better than that, I would say. So
yeah, so I think it was pitched then, what about if we animate all the training videos? Now, when we actually break this down, how many videos is it, Jay?
I think it's in the region of 260 videos in total. Where we probably thought it'd be 30, 40.
It's been no small feat, has it? I think these guys know a lot more than I do, because definitely taking a back seat to it, but I think it's been nothing short of nearly 2 or 3 feature-length films for an animation studio. It's been a lot of work by both the Regency Training Department and Mighty Giant to get it where it's got to. But I think it's been 100% the right step to take, and it shows from obviously the quality of what's come out kind of thing once we've got them back. So once obviously Reg have been designed, do we want to try and obviously now explain a little bit of that process of how these animated training videos come about, like how it goes from internally at Regency to then working with Mighty Giant, in which was, let's be completely honest, it was a very seamless process for saying that the Mighty Giant team didn't actually, other than yourself and Rach, didn't actually step foot in the building, did they? And they still managed to get all of the detail over. It was a very seamless project from what they were literally an extension of the department.
I think there's 4 of us came and did a tour of the facility, but yeah, you're right, there was a much wider team, which I'll get onto, who had never been here.
So do you just want to give a bit of a process, Jay, of how that kind of, how you'd kind of get it from that start of what you guys envisioned, and how you and Em kind of pulled all that together, and then how you got that over to Mighty Giant?
Yeah, so like you said, so Jonny and the team they did a tour, and then once they'd left, they went away. They asked us for any information. We started with modelling, I think originally, did we? Yeah. Just modelling, and we would just send them pictures, videos of any machinery, any process, and they would always come back to us, and we was like, how do they remember this from the from the first walk round, really? But yeah,
it's been a massive process, hasn't it? So like you said, you started with the modelling, and then from there, then it was down to you and Em, wasn't it, where you went out and you literally got step-by-step guides of every job role in there?
Yeah, so that was it started with the modelling of machinery, and then it step by step was we'd go out and we were speaking with heads of departments, jobs, processes, all that, and then was just relaying that back to Mighty Giant. You introduced us to Trello, didn't you? Because it was like originally everything for me personally was on the back of a piece of paper or something. Give that to Emily and send that over.
I think again though, it just shows that you guys have got a great team dynamic there, and that shows again hopefully the strengths of Regency and Mighty Giant of being able to pull different qualities from different people and then getting all that information across, and then Mighty Giant being able to deliver something back based off what you guys have sent them. It's no small feat, and I'm sure there were a lot of challenges at Mighty Giant from your end with obviously trying to blend all that together. And how did that process look? So once obviously we provided you with that information, how many kind of steps happened at Mighty Giants and then from that point?
Yeah, well, I mean, the big shout has to go to Rach. our production manager.
Yeah.
Was a sort of vital cog in this, because when you say you had a back seat, I had a further back seat. I was, there was a team. We did a bit of a head count. We worked out there was 17 people worked on the project our side. At times there's a team of 10 to 12 people working on it at once. We're a full-time team of 7, but we scaled up with freelancers that we use. So managing that was quite a feat, and to be fair, we didn't really work out how to do it until sort of April 23, I think. Yeah.
Just go back, sorry, so when would we say after Reg had been designed, it was kind of end of 2022?
End of 2022 was when we were first getting scripts through from you guys.
Yeah.
So the process was very much, scripts would arrive month 1. Month 2, we would have what we called a discovery phase, where we'd sort of sit down as a team and work out how we're going to tackle this, what elements do we need, how do we build them. And then month 3, we'd be in production and sending back for feedback, and month 4 would be delivery. So that was, each film would have that, but we'd be working on blocks of 20 to 30 films at once on a rolling pattern. So month 1 would then shift to month 1 the next month. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't that we did a block of 4 and then a block of 4. So going back to how we managed it was the Trello boards, which Rach brought in. So everything had its own board where everybody involved could feed into it. Yeah. You'd receive it, be able to feed back to it.
You were the next person, didn't they? The board moved along in stages, wasn't it?
Yeah, even though people weren't on the same side, it made it feel like you were, which I think was crucial, wasn't it? And I think that was something that, without Rachel's input, it would have been very, very difficult to keep that project moving, wouldn't it, for us here at this end? Because like we've discussed, we had absolutely no experience, did we, in this training department? Obviously, like I said, it's you and Em who ran it, but you didn't know what that job role was going to, and it's a credit to you guys for obviously being able to pick that up and run with it. But I think also that's where bringing great partners on board like Mighty Giant definitely aided us with that, because if we hadn't have had the expertise from Mighty Giant, which I'm sure this was, a learning curve for you guys, had you had a project this big before, or no?
Hopefully never again.
Have we put you off about that?
No, I'm joking. It was just the sheer volume.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So we had to invent our own process for how we managed that amount. We've worked on big sort of TV projects in the past where you're delivering like 50, 60 elements, but over 206 in, and they're not little pieces as well. They're complex pieces with a lot of detail which we have to get right.
Especially when it's not necessarily. I highly doubt any of your team have walked into a glass factory before and looked at a glass cutting table or like the toughening plant, and it's something that you guys are getting your head round, which you just said. And then having to create it, make it move, show, it was a lot of teamwork.
Yeah,
I think there's a few people at our place that could probably get a job here now, though. So I think they've learned a bit off it.
I think they know more than me.
They probably know more than me. They definitely know more than me.
Yeah.
No, it was. You're absolutely right. It's a world we know nothing about, and which we do now. But just the complexity of the machines and. But looping back to the machines, we modelled everything you've got on the shop floor in 3D, which took months of work. Yeah. But the reason being that it allowed you now to be able to take those out.
Correct.
Put in new machinery. And it's something we had in our very first meeting we discussed, wasn't it? Yeah. Was that if you film it, you got to shut down the shop floor. There's also all these sort of things to do, whereas now, although it took a long time and it was a big investment by you guys, it also means we can take the machines apart, we can look under them, we can fly around them, and gives you complete flexibility what you're doing.
It does, yeah. I didn't really know what that entailed originally, and I didn't envision it until you actually see the final product. Yeah.
Were you quite shocked when you saw the final product?
I was, yeah. It was basically just looking at the manual of a machine or something like that. That's just how it was.
I think this is the key to it. It's like when Jonny said they obviously didn't have any idea about this world. we had no idea about their
Like
world
theirs,
either,
no.
did we? So
No.
it's been a very interesting process, and a credit to both of your teams now as how you guys have kind of seamlessly stepped over to their world, and Mike Giants also seamlessly stepped over to our world. And I think that's, at the end of the day, again, going back to how important it is to have the right partnerships, because otherwise projects like this just wouldn't work, would they?
Yeah.
And it's absolutely no small feat at all what's been accomplished by both sides. So obviously we've gone over training, Reg. I know, how would you describe the working relationship with Regency, Jonny? So over the past, well, it's been nearly 3 years now, really.
Yeah.
Two,
And
3 years.
ongoing still.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so can't get rid of us no matter how much you try. But yeah, so how would you describe that working relationship with Regency when we talk about obviously partnering? And
We've loved it. It's, you know, you don't know who's going to come through your door or who you're going to be working with. And, you know, as everyone knows, you get your good clients, you get your bad clients. But the thing that we loved immediately here was just there was a sense of trust. And, you know, the company's culture just matches with us. You know, the professionalism, the sort of, you know, the kindness and the, you know, the nice people that you are here. And it just, even on the first tours around, I remember going around the shop floor, you just get a sense of, you know, it's a business that cares about people. And you've been completely upfront with us all the way through. You know, when we've discussed challenges and finance with you, you know, it's just been straightforward that, you know, you treat us fairly. And I think it's reflected, you know, the team have felt that as well. So as a result, the team has, you know, wanted to push that a little bit further. Yeah, because when you're working for a client that, you know, cares about you, then, yeah, it makes a huge difference.
like we said, it's going back to, again, that partnership, isn't it? Because if you don't have that partnership backwards and forward, it makes a project very, very difficult, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, that's been important from us. We didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, did we? So we needed that upfront and honesty, and we needed to be guided, just like you need that upfront and honesty from us as well. So it's important that it works both ways, isn't it?
I remember, I was just going to say, just seeing your dad in the office over there, just remembering that very first meeting, what I thought was really refreshing as well was straight up commerciality from the beginning as well. And, you know, even from the outset, right, will it cost this? Will it cost more than that? Can we get it for this? And I was on the spot just going, oh God, he's getting me to quote on 80 films on the spot. But it was refreshing because so much of our business is people sort of, you know, trying to guess what things cost or sort of, you know, so immediately it gives us a remit for us to work within. So we now know, right,
Where you stand.
this is where we're looking. We can possibly do this, and then we can go away and think based on that. So
Yeah, I think anyone that knows or has dealt with Darren Mazag knows that that's exactly how it works, isn't it? Straight to the point.
Yeah.
And he deals with people how he wants to be dealt with. So, like you said, hopefully that filters through the business. And
I can imagine your industry evolves a lot, especially at the moment. AI is here, etc. How would you say, what trends or significant developments have you got in your field at the moment that you would say are helping you or challenging you?
the AI thing is obviously a huge thing because we are seeing a lot of our work getting automated, and there's big news came out yesterday that there's been global redundancies in our industry from some huge companies because that's taking out, you know, people within it. But with that comes, you know, possibilities as well. It sort of takes out some of the work you don't want to be doing, you know, it speeds up some processes. And for us, we're seeing it as a, you know, possible benefit that we can focus on the bit we want to be doing better, you know, focusing on that quality bit and the craft bit at the end, rather than, you know, the amount of legwork that's taken on the other. So, yeah, I definitely think you can't avoid it. It's the huge thing in our industry that it will take jobs, but it'll also make things more efficient as well.
that seems to be the response that we're getting, doesn't it? That it takes out, at the minute now, it seems like people looking at the positive sides of it, where it's taking out the stuff that you don't really want to do every day. But then also, you're never going to be able to take away that people want to deal with personal,
Yeah.
you know, they want to deal, like the experience we've had with you guys. We wouldn't trade that for AI in a million years. That's just how we couldn't do that with an AI bot, could we? No matter how much we tried. So it's the same as anything, is that personal touch is always going to be there. People are going to want to deal with people, aren't they?
There'll always be a market where, you know, you can cut out certain people and you'll get it cheap and you'll get it quick and you'll get it even free with AI. But that's not the market we want to be in anyway. So, you know, we want to be working with quality clients who want a quality product.
So we've got a new tradition here now on the podcast that since we started doing the Glass Girls podcast, we've finished off every episode with, as you might already know or not know, our slogan here is "The difference is clear." So in your own words, what would you say the difference is here at Regency?
You're very fair, you're loyal, and you're very straight with people. And, you know, you're very open, and I can see it when you go around the place with your workforce and, you know, the way that your team is. There's obviously a bond with the company, so it's good culture here, I think.
What about you, Jen?
I think the difference here, we have a talking rhino.
That is a difference.
That is definitely. I mean, you're not wrong about it.
No, I would say we're a forward-thinking company. We're always willing to take new ideas on board, which the Rhinos proved, and the training program.
Proofs of the pudding.
Always willing to give it a try.
I think just following on from that, that is the better answer. That the Rhino, because that does show a lot about the company as well. Is that you know what you've done with these training videos is enormous. It's a huge body of work, and you know to have invested in that and sort of committed to that. I think that shows a huge difference.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you both on the podcast, so thank you very much. And thank you for creating the training programme, essentially. It should be, and well, it's started being enrolled now, hasn't it? So
it is, yeah. It's been rolled out now to new starters, and we're just testing at the moment with our supervisors and managers on the shop floor.
Very exciting. No, and personally as well, thank you to you both, to all the Mighty Giant team for everything they've done, because it's been a fantastic experience working with them. I couldn't imagine working with anybody else. And also to Jay and Emily in the training department, you've been fantastic. And he's absolutely not exaggerating when he says that there was no structure to the department. So very, very proud to have seen what they've done with it and where it is today. They've done a fantastic job, both of them. So thank you to you both for being on here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Glass Girls podcast. Whether you watched or listened, we hope you enjoyed it, and keep an eye on our socials for our next episode, which will be released soon. See you soon.
Thanks. See you soon, guys.